Hello everybody, my name is Sniping is Fun, and I welcome you all back to the next character I present to all of you here on YouTube for my Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Potential Newcomer Ideas series of videos. Character number 53, as mentioned last time when I talked about the Monster Hunter, is going to be Neku Sakuraba from The World Ends With You. And I'm hoping I pronounce that right because, quite frankly, some Japanese names I'm really crappy at pronouncing. But yes, I at least know, Neku Sakuraba. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it just fine, but whatever. Main character from World Ends With You. A lot of you out there probably know exactly who he is. I'm sure some of you don't. I'm going to talk about why I feel he makes sense to be a newcomer, a new third-party character in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Super Smash Bros. 5, the next Super Smash Bros. Game on Nintendo Switch. Character number 53, Neku Sakuraba from The World Ends With You. Now, just like always, 3 separate categories. Basically, I've talked about numerous characters so far. Why does the character make sense for Smash Brothers? Moveset ideas, and percentage chance I can see him getting in. And as I've mentioned before, with numerous characters on this in this series, there are certain characters I actually have to do a little bit more research on because I'm not super familiar with them. And quite frankly, Neku is one of them. I do own The World Ends With You on the DS. I have played it, but I haven't put a whole lot of time into it, so I'm not super familiar with the game or the character. I do plan on getting back into it and playing. It's on my to-do list one day. It's like backlog of games I have to play, especially on the DS specifically, not even including all my other systems. I have to get back into it. I know it's a cult classic. You're all gonna probably hound on me in the comment section because I never really played the game, put a whole lot of time into it, but I am looking forward to it. I bought it years ago, and I just bought a lot of games, and it just kind of fell to the wayside. I didn't want to get back to it, and there you go, Neku Sakuraba, World Ends With You. I'll get back to that eventually, and I am looking forward to playing the Switch version when they bring it out on the Switch. So maybe that will get me back into playing the DS version. But yes, this is a character I had to do a little bit of research on because I'm not super familiar with making a moveset of the character because I haven't really put a whole lot of time into the game itself, unlike some of you out there who've probably played this game in and out a billion times over since it originally came out in 2007 on the DS, 2008. So yes, I had to do a little bit of research just to kind of craft a moveset idea for him, so let's go with it as we will. But yes, first let's just start off, why does Neku make sense to be in Smash Bros. At all? Well, it is a franchise from Square-Enix. I shouldn't even say a franchise because it's only one game so far, but it is an IP from Square-Enix that they seem to heavily utilize. The game came out on the DS in 2007. It became a cult classic, and they are bringing it back. They're actually adding content to like a final mix type version of it for the Switch later on this year. And they seem to know that there's a big cult following behind it. They seem to really know that, and they seem to push that, even though they haven't made a sequel to it since it came out, and it came out about 10 years ago. So there you go. But it's like, for being a singular game, it is a kind of one of their IPs that actually has a lot of fans behind it. It's fairly popular, and they do push it here and there because they actually made Neku and the rest of the World Ends With You cast also as cameo characters in Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance on the 3DS. So if they keep advertising these characters around, putting them in cameos of other games and so on and so forth, Square Enix obviously seems to still love the IP, which is also given the fact that they're releasing the game with updated content on the Nintendo Switch, which may, with fans for the longest time, have wanted a sequel probably on the Nintendo Switch in a year or two because of them re-releasing the game with updated content on the Switch. It all kind of falls into place. It's a Square Enix IP, a Square Enix franchise that is close to Nintendo. I know it's been released elsewhere, but it's close to Nintendo because it was originally released on a DS. They're releasing it on the Switch. On the Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance game, the characters from the series actually showed up in there. And Square Enix heavily pushes out the characters and advertises the game and the characters. So it's like, it's close to Nintendo. A chance of us getting a sequel in the future, the characters cameoing in the likes of Kingdom Hearts and whatnot, and Square Enix obviously pushing the characters, knowing that they're popular, knowing that they're well-liked characters, and they probably like them too. It's probably one of the games they liked really creating during like that generation of like the DS and whatnot. It all comes together and making sense for us to actually get a character from The World Ends With You to represent Square Enix in the Smash Brothers franchise. So it's like, it's not the best reasons, but they are reasons for why Neku or any of the characters in the series, more importantly Neku because he is the main character, makes sense to actually, if they wanted to give the secondary Square Enix representation slot to a character like, you know, World Ends With You, a franchise like The World Ends With You, which does have, like I said, it has a cult game. It has a cult following behind it. It's one of those like hidden gem franchises, the hidden gem stuff, and Square Enix knows it, and they publish, you know, like the characters out and cameo them off in their other games, and they market them out. You advertise these characters, and they're bringing the game back on the Nintendo Switch, so it's going to have 2 versions of this game on the Nintendo brand, and you know, there's always a chance for a sequel. Games have went even longer than 10 years, franchises, without getting a sequel. So it's not out of the realm that Square Enix may one day make a World Ends With You 2 on the Nintendo Switch or some other future brand system for Nintendo, more than likely. So those reasons go into effect, and Neku makes sense for a secondary character on, you know, the Square Enix, you know, third party, you know, representing Square Enix as a third party. So there you go. Those reasons right there. As for moveset ideas, like I said, I've only put so much time into it, but I do know basically it's like this Reaper game that the characters they all died and they all are trying to fight back, you know, to get themselves back alive, and they use these things called pins, these psych pins, to attack and beat up like these monsters, these noises. I forgot exactly what the monsters are called. It's been a while since like I said, it's been quite a while since I played the game. But all these monsters to try to win the game and, you know, get back to, you know, to stay alive, come back to life kind of thing. So it's like he uses like these pins. All these characters that are in this game, this Reaper game, use these pins to attack monsters and, you know, obviously fight. So that's gonna have to be the central part of his move set. I mean, the secondary thing, I know I didn't mention the transfer between reasons why that makes sense for Smash Brothers to going into moveset, but there you go. I'm in the moveset. So I'm going to basically base his moveset around on the different pins in the game. Neku, before I even get to smash attacks, special attacks, final smash, his movement, he is a character that kind of, he walks around like normal, but he also, if you played the game, you notice he actually, during battles, floats around too. So I'd say very little walking, but mostly a lot of him floating across the stage, which makes his movement pretty fast. He'll be a pretty agile, fast character, but that probably, you know, he'll be able to evade attacks more so, but he probably won't be a heavy damage, heavy combo type character. Like, he'd be able to cause a lot of damage, but he may be able to do combos to do little bits of damage here and there. And he will, you know, obviously be an agile character to move around the stage, get away from, you know, opponents, and be able to gauge the distance between opponents and himself, and so on and so forth. So that's the first thing I want to mention before I even do his attacks. He moves around mostly by floating around kind of thing. So that's going to be like his main transportation on the battlefield in Smash Brothers, is floating around. With sometimes he'll be on his feet and he'll walk around and stuff like that too, because he can walk. But his battle style is mostly him floating and attacking. So there you go. So it makes him more of an agile character that doesn't do heavy damage unless you can really do a lot of combo-heavy attacks, which he'll be a combo-heavy character that you have to master to move around the stage and be able to cause that much damage. There you go. But the smash attacks, there's different types of pins. There's like these physical attack pins, which are like melee-based stuff, and then there's like ranged attack type stuff. And the smash attack, he can punch, he can kick. He basically uses pins to basically arm swipe his arms like, or just like kicks, like kicks. That's his smash attacks. It has to be like, you know, melee attacks have to be in the character, even if they don't use them a whole heck of a lot. But he does use pins that physically attack. He does like arm swipes upwards, arm swipes left and right, kind of thing, and he does kicks. So yes, that will be his smash attacks: arm swipes up, down, left, right, punches type stuff, and kicks, which is generic. But you know, he does them differently because he doesn't do them physically by himself. He has to use the pins to help him attack. And sorry. And basically, like, he attacks differently with arm swipes, which I don't know too many characters in Smash Bros. That swipe their arms, not like physically attacking forward, but he's like, and then kick and whatnot. And then there's like elemental type ranged attack pins for his special attacks. He does like energy beams. He could shoot little energy beams out of his hand, energy blast shot type things. He could do wind attacks, fire, flame attacks, lightning based attacks. It's like an elemental thing. It's a freaking Square Enix game. They do like wind and aura and cure and like flames and fire and lightning and all that type stuff. So he does do elemental attacks like a standard, you know, Square Enix JRPG. So he does fire-based, he causes flames on the ground, he shoots little energy beams out of his hand, he can do little wind attacks to lift opponents up and maybe send them flying. That will be his pins for his ranged attack, elemental attack pins for his special attacks. So before we get to the final smash, like melee-based attacks, like arm swipes, punches, kicks, floating around and attacking opponents melee-based will be his smash attacks. His special attacks will be like elemental ranged pin attacks, like flames, winds, energy beam shot type stuff. There you go. And you could charge those probably up and do like multiple beams at once. So he'll be like a Dragon Ball Z character. Or any JRPG type, RPG type character. He would just do like pew, pew, pew. So those people out there that want Goku, there you go. He's probably one of the closest characters you can get to doing some sort of Kamehameha energy beam type stuff. And I can't believe I just mentioned that in this video because I never intended that, but there you go, because he's never going to be in people. But as for Final Smash, there's these like if you've actually played it, but for those of you who have not actually played it, in The World Ends With You, you basically find partners. You have to find a partner to survive the Reaper game. And there's different parts of the story where he teams up with different characters that are also trying to survive the Reaper game. And you can do fusion attacks when you team them, because basically Neku is a DS game. Neku's on the bottom and his partner's on the top. You have to control both people at the same time. And there's different fusion attacks that go together. And I'm like, okay, which one should I pick to put them in there? And then I remember doing research, because like I said, I never got that far in the game. There is an all-out final fusion with all three partners. And I'm like, well, that has to make sense. Instead of you just teaming up with Beat or Shiki or Joshua, team up with all three of them, and you do basically what's called the final star finish, the final fusion attack, where you team up with all three of them. So they're all going to join Neku on the screen and charge up the attack. So like how Pooh and Paula team up with Ness and whatnot, and Kumatora and Boney, team up with Lucas. It's like they all join him on the stage. So it's a good way to represent the other characters from the game without obviously making them playable characters. Throw him into his character, and he does the final star finish, where he basically charges up this giant white X, which will go onto the stage. It will probably be a cinematic finish, so you probably have to be like a catch finisher, a catch final smash, like a Mega Man Shulk type thing. So you go into a cinematic final smash, basically, and he just like charges it up, and here's the opponents all standing around like, what? White X slashes across them, they get stuck, and these like white lightning beam energy things just drop down on the stage and hit the opponents, and they get blown off the stage. It's a big explosion. So basically that's going to be his final smash. The final star's finish. He summons Skip, Shiki, Beat, and why am I thinking Skip? It's a different game or something. It's late and I'm sorry. Beat, Joshua, and Shiki, to the field. He summons this giant energy attack. White X cutscene hits the opponents. Lightning energy beams come down and blow the people off the stage. There you go. That's his final smash. And there you go. And then the third category, percentage chance I could see him actually getting in. He's possible. It's possible they may want to consider him to be like the secondary character for Square-Enix for Cloud, for their Final Fantasy rep. But I do think the chances of them picking The World Ends With You as a secondary rep for their representing their company and their franchises over, say, Dragon Quest or Kingdom Hearts is not as likely. I know it has more of a cult following on Nintendo and is closer to Nintendo than at least Kingdom Hearts. But Kingdom Hearts has been on Nintendo, I think, more in terms of more games. So they pretty much have more of a connection to Nintendo anyways. And Dragon Quest has been around forever and is a cult following in Japan and a cult following on Nintendo brand systems. And it's Final Fantasy's counterpart in Square-Enix, when it used to be just Enix, when they were Squaresoft, blah, 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 competition. Now they're the same company. But the chances of us seeing them pick Neku Sakuraba, The World Ends With You, getting a character in general, over, say, someone like Sora from Kingdom Hearts or any of the characters from Dragon Quest to represent a secondary character of the Cloud, is, sorry to say, it's not as likely. It's possible they may want to go for him to advertise an eventual sequel or something like that. I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibility, but I'm giving him a 55% chance. It's there. It's right there. His popularity, the franchise is right there. The chance of this getting a sequel, the cult following, it's all there. But it pales in comparison to Kingdom Hearts or to Dragon Quest, which I think Square Enix would want to represent first and foremost to accompany Cloud and to accompany Final Fantasy and Smash Bros. As a secondary Square Enix rep. I'm sorry. So, Neku Sakuraba, 55% chance. There you go, people. There is my 53rd character, Neku Sakuraba from The World Ends With You. Put in the comment section what you guys think. Do you guys like, want to see Neku in the game? Are you a fan of the series? Or should I say one game? Are you going to get the Switch game? Have you played the DS game? Do you like his cameo in Kingdom Hearts? Do you want to see him in Smash Brothers? What about my reasons? What reasons would you agree with my reasons? What about your reasons? What about my moveset? You probably have more of an idea of what his moveset would be because you've probably beaten the game a billion times over. So in the comments section, what you guys think? And is 55% too high, too low? Just discuss it down there and we'll have fun, and that's really about it. And we're going on to my 54th character, and it is a character that I'm sure a lot of you have been wondering why I haven't put him on this list at all yet. And I've gotten even comments questioning why hasn't he been in the series yet? Why hasn't he been on my list yet? And it's going to be Isaac from Golden Sun. See y'all later in the next video. Bye.